to Simon and ask one thing of him, to take his boat and go to a place deeper into the sea. Simon did not at first trust Jesus. Sincerely, he said to Jesus, "We worked all night long and caught nothing. But, okay, we'll do it." This encounter between Simon and Jesus was an encounter that allowed Jesus to teach them a very important thing. There we go. It was off. Sorry. Yeah. You know, microphones that have on and off buttons. Yeah. But thank you, Scott. In this dialogue with Jesus, Simon comes to recognize one thing, to listen to what Jesus says. Once Simon, even doubting, do what Jesus is asking, he sees results. Jesus is asking something. Simon is not so confident about it, but he sees the results. They have their boats filled with fish, in which it says it was in danger of sinking. Simon do a very important thing. He falls on Jesus' feet. And he says to Jesus, and remember these words, "Depart from me, Jesus, because I am a saint?" No, a sinner. A sinner. What is Jesus' answer? "Okay, you know what? You bad guy, you get away from me." Is that what he says? No. Once they arrive with their feet on the shore, Jesus tells them, "Follow me." They left everything, follow Jesus. And Jesus promised them one thing: "I will make you fishers of men." There is a change, a twist, a complete change in their lives. That's not very different from what we heard in the second reading from St. Paul, right? St. Paul, he goes to the community and he begins with all that fire of teaching about Jesus. But St. Paul, he never forgets one thing, that he persecuted the church. He persecuted Christ, and he acknowledges, he does an examination of conscience. That's very important. And he says to himself, "I was not perfect. But through the grace," and those words are very important, "through the grace of God, I am who I am." It's through the action of God in our lives that we are who we are. If we allow the grace of God, we are who we are. And why that is important? Easily. What is Peter's reaction, acknowledging that he is a sinner? I'm not worth it, right? Basically, that's what Peter is saying. I'm just filled with bad stuff. You know what? I cannot do that. Jesus, he goes towards Peter and he tells him, this is what I want from you, to be fishers of men. And Jesus remained with them. And St. Paul tells us he is the last of the apostles, and he considers himself also unworthy of it. But through the grace of God, he is who he is, and that's why he goes on preaching the good news. So, what we take from it to us? In our lives, dear brothers and sisters, of course, it doesn't happen here, okay? Let's say it just happened there in Westminster, okay? Doesn't happen here in Colombia, okay? In our lives, we are imperfect, yes. We have mistakes, yes, we do. But one thing is very important for Jesus. It's not what was done, it's where we're heading. And sometimes I look to myself, we look to ourselves, and we can say, you know what? I am a sinful person. I don't deserve it from God. And it's so easy for us to put the blame on ourselves, on things. And the more blame we get, the more we feed ourselves with it, with guilt, with that, with poisonous things. And Jesus is telling us, you have my grace. And with my grace, you will be who you will be. You just need to allow it. And that's why I said here is very different from in Westminster. Because sometimes in life, Jesus comes close to us and we say to Jesus, get away from me. Because, for example, maybe with our co-workers, oh, Father, I want to jump in their neck. Or I want to, my neighbor, oh, Father, you can't imagine my wife and my husband. Oh, ha, ha. Spend 5 minutes and you will see. Too bad, for good and for worse. Every time we become that. You know what we are telling Jesus? Get away from me. I'm not telling Jesus, okay, I will be the fisher that you want me to be. I will throw the nets in the way you want me to throw them for a purpose. Because every time we throw our nets with the gospel into people's lives, even though, yes, we are imperfect and we have our sins, the grace of God must be the winner, never the loser. Every time I approach others, and I feel in my heart that there is something in there that is not okay, I must open my heart for Jesus so he can come closer to me with his grace, so I can become a fisher, so I can become a follower. So I can become someone that truly and really gives that presence of Jesus. So instead of being upset because of this or that, I open the gates to go on in the right direction. the direction of the love. And that's the point. Our boats will always be filled, never empty, because Jesus is in the boat of life with us. Sometimes we doubt. Peter doubted. But once he acknowledged that grace of Jesus was working, as St. Paul acknowledged that the grace of God was working, we could bear much, much fruit. We could be much more different. Of course, we turn on our TVs and we see a bunch of bad stuff, right? Hatred from one another based on the color, based in political reasons. And I'll tell you, those things, we sometimes put them as the center of our lives, as we put our mistakes, our errors, our sins in the center, and unfortunately, we do it wrong. We must put the grace of God, the presence of Jesus as the center of our lives, because that is what will change us. I'll tell you a good example. We can get Republicans and Democrats talking about, and you know what they are going to fix? Nothing. We are just going to hurt each other talking about politics. Now, having concrete actions to do concrete things, to bring out what Jesus taught, that's what makes a good Republican a good Democrat. For each one of us, dear brothers and sisters, Jesus gives us His grace for us to be a better husband, a better wife. Jesus gives us His grace to us to be a better co-worker, a better neighbor, a better mother, a better father. He gives us the grace. We just need to allow Jesus to come to us so that we are able to throw the nets. But if we are close ourselves and say, no, 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 this pain I feel is the most important thing, and that's what I want to hold on to it, we are going to get stuck. And we will not be able to move and to love and to be the image of Jesus. Dear brothers and sisters, the Son tells me, stop talking.